What a beautiful day. Welcome to our home here in Southeast Michigan. I think we've got an interesting subject for you today. We're going to talk about personal defense. As a matter of fact, we're actually going to put it into two different videos, and this will be the first. I hope you learned something from it. There's a lot to learn. As you can see, we have a hostage here, a lovely lady who is going to need some help. And she's got a burglar, a bad guy, a terrorist, something behind her here, and he's using her to block. And the question is, where are we going to shoot? How can we help her? And the answer is, in part, we've got to practice. We've got to actually have a plan, some instruction today, but something else that we need to know. That is, with different types of air guns, the target changes. Let me give you an idea. For example, if we had a 22 caliber or 25, something in the mid-range, we want to be careful. A lot of people want to shoot here in the forehead. Foreheads are bad shots. First of all, that skull is a lot tougher than you think it is. And I've seen where bullets have hit, bullets, not pellets, bullets hit, and not go through, but rather come around and underneath the skin and then exit in the back. That didn't do anything but give the bad guy a very bad headache. And if nothing else, he might really be mad now. So skull shots are much more difficult than you might think, and that's with handgun bullets. So where else could we shoot on this? Oh, some guys with a 17 caliber or even an air pistol would say, I could shoot him in the eye. Yes, you could, if you're that good of a shot in a very excitable situation. I would leave the eye alone, and he might be wearing safety glasses that protect his eyes. Who knows? But there's still a target here for every gun. Let's talk about maybe shooting the pistol itself. Well, now, that can be problematic because when we hit, it splatters the lead. It could hurt her. It could just make him madder. He could drop the gun and quickly pick it back up, and we're in still just as bad a situation as we were before. So when pellets and bullets hit this gun, not so good. Unpredictable, if you will. If we have a medium size, again, a very good 17 caliber, 22, maybe 30, we can go in here for this hand. Now that hand's a nice target, it's a good target, and it's really made up of, you've seen a skeleton's hand, so we have a good chance of getting in there and hitting a joint, hitting the hand. Whether we hit the bone or pass through, what did we do? We passed through and got him. So it's a very good hand right here to shoot, and probably gets him to drop that gun. And that gives us a chance to go into plan 2 of our plan. Are there still some better shots? Well, I can tell you that if I had an air pistol, a lot of videos are out there today, and all they want to do is tell you which guns you can use for self-defense and which ones you can't. And they're really bad-mouthing realistic pistols with the blowback feature, because about a third of that power that comes out of the CO2 cartridge is used to pull that slide back and forward again to make it realistic. And now we only have an air gun that shoots about 350 feet a second, but not 550, not 575. But I still think when we wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to grab whatever you can. You're going to maybe throw it at a bad guy. You're going to use any weapon you can find in the middle of the night. It might just be a blowback pistol, and that's all you've got. So what would we do? And I think the answer is right here in the throat. In that throat, we've got his Adam's apple, we've got soft tissue, and not any skull, front or back. It's pretty hard to do harm to people when you can't breathe, you're choking, you're spitting blood, etc., etc. And I can tell you, 350 feet a second will go right through that skin. What if we have a major large bore gun. 30 caliber, 350, 45, 50 caliber. Where would we shoot? I'd still stay away from this head. I think I'd stay away from the glasses. But this shoulder would be my favorite. Why? Well, when I hit this shoulder, there's a very good chance that I'm going to swing him around. He's holding the girl, he's holding the gun, and he's going to swing this way and probably swing to the ground. If she's got her wits about her, she's going to escape. And big bore calibers can do just that. They can spin him around. And I'll tell you something, after Vietnam, if I don't kill another person, that's going to be okay with me. I think a lot of people are saying, you know, I've got this 44 Magnum and make my day, Dirty Harry. But, you know, I think I'm carrying enough post-traumatic syndrome disorder for everybody that's watching this video. So let's avoid killing if we can. And again, if I shot him here and spun him down, then I'd be on top of him in a hurry. I'd take a belt. If I had to knock him out more, I could. I'd take a belt, stop the bleeding, call the police. Because when we get down in that police station, I can tell you, you've got to show that you used some restraint. You've got to show that you tried to save this guy's life. If you didn't, there's a good chance that you're going to be in jail and this guy is going to be back out on the street. So we need a total plan when we put together a video. When we put together a self-defense plan. Okay. Hollowhead, are you ready? Lady, are you ready for us to rescue her? Well, we're going to head up the hill and at 65 yards, see if we can't help this lady. Okay. Driving up this hill in a ute is a lot easier than walking up it a dozen times. Try to rescue that lady down there with this Benjamin Bulldog 357. I'm going to try to shoot that bad guy in the shoulder and let's see how it goes. A little bit of wind today, but we'll see. Another shot. I'm going to try to shoot him right in the Adam's apple. And miss the hostage. I think I'm 2 for 2. I'm going to try to shoot the gun, something I told you not to do, but we'll see if we can do it in a little bit of wind here. Three for 3. It's my good day, isn't it? And I think we'll try between the eyes. No, it's shooting right in the mouth. Well, close. Got him in the chin. We'll go down and look at it in a minute. And I went through her hair. That's not good in practical shooting. My last shot will be between the eyes. Well, that looks more like I shot him in the nose. Nonetheless, a lot of cartilage there. If you look at the skull, there is a hole there. But I was trying to shoot between his eyes. Well, it's a little bit windy, but I think we saved this lady in a couple of opportunities here. Let's see. Here's the first shot. It's just exactly what I wanted to do. Hit that collarbone and whirl this guy around. She would escape, and a 357 would do that. 357 on this gun would knock it out of his hand, maybe go ahead and hit him too, but it's not my favorite shot. With a small air pistol right into that Adam's apple, that'll do it for him. He is not going to be interested in terrorizing her or anybody else after that. Now here's the one that would nail me good. If you really get down on it, I've grazed her scalp, went through her hair, and I was really trying for the mouth right here, about a half-inch higher. But that would be another great shot for 17, 22, 25 caliber. Going right through the mouth, you hit some teeth, the throat. And this would be my worst shot, the fifth one. Probably the gun losing a little air by then. But I was trying to come right in between the eyes. I've dropped an inch down. And fortunately, in a real hostage situation, there's a hole there. And I'd be already through the first part of his skull and into his brain. It would definitely kill him instantly. Not something I want to do, but that's what that shot would do. On a windy day. Some of you enjoy your air guns for plinking. So do I. Some of you like it for target practice. So do I. Some of you want to remove undesirable critters around your house. So do I. And some of you like to hunt medium and large game animals. So do I. But fortunately, most of you in this current crime rate will probably never have, statistically speaking, you'll never have the need to defend yourself with any kind of gun. And that's a good thing. I don't know when the next crime rates are going to be published, but your chances might increase. Most of my viewers are men, and often men don't need to defend themselves. I see a lot of big guys walking around, and I've got this big gun and I'm going to defend myself. And my gun's bigger than your gun. They'll never get attacked. Where we want to do is just draw the circle out a little larger, because you see, we come across a lot of people these days. And there's children and women and old people and disabled people. I have a concealed carry permit, and I'll frequently have an air gun in the truck. But the point is that I'm not trying to defend myself. I don't even think about defending myself. I think about those people, defending others. I think that's a high calling. I think that's what I'd like to share with you. That we're not learning these tricks to defend ourselves, but to defend others. That's what I really would like for you to think about. You know, the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Probably the last thing you would ever want is if you got yourself into trouble and you called out for help and you knew I was within earsight. And what did I say? I didn't hear him. I think I need to go ahead and move on. I don't have any reason to stay around here. He got himself in trouble on his own, and I leave the area. And yet you knew I had the capability of helping you. So let's think about all the other people like that. We want them to be helped by everybody who watches these videos. Just a couple of things. Number one, I always keep some cards on exactly where my rifles are hitting and my pistols are hitting, so that I know when I pick them up that I've got this under control. One thing we did not get in control today was we had these drones all set to fly down to the target. In fact, we were going to have one hover right by the hostage target, and the winds were too bad. As a matter of fact, we had 3 drones, not 2. Renee, you remember what happened to the third one? Renee does remember. It was straight up above me in a tree here, and that was a big mistake, trying to fly on a windy day. But I want you to be thinking of the bigger picture. Can we actually help others? Is that why I'm going to lug a gun strapped to my ankle every day to work and to play? It's because I think I might be able to help somebody else. That's what I want you to think too. You know, when a burglar breaks into a home, your home, my home, he might come through a window, he might use a crowbar, he might use his shoulder, and he gets in. We want to have a plan, and that plan would include some alternative weapons besides an air gun. I've got a great alternative, and that's your cell phone. You want to call 911 and get those police coming as soon as possible. They may end up doing that dirty work of actually shooting somebody, etc., etc. So get them on the way. They may catch the guy leaving the house. I had a good friend who was robbed at a gas station. Took her purse, took the car, and as she began to worry in the days and weeks that followed, because this guy was still loose, and she felt like he was responsible for every noise in the house. It wasn't until a couple of weeks later that the cops caught him, before she truly could relax and be comfortable. So let's get those cops coming. You'll be glad that you did. Let's not try to handle it ourselves. Now, in addition to a cell phone as an alternative weapon, we could have a lot of others. You don't know who's going to be there. It could be a large gang of people or just what. You don't know what weapons they're going to have. And so some good hot pepper spray is good. I can tell you for a fact they can turn a grizzly bear around. Mace, tasers, an umbrella, a baseball bat. One of my favorites is a slingshot with big old marbles in it, 50 caliber marbles. Not only do they make a great alternative weapon, but I use them when I hunt. I like to put them into the thicket. It brings those wild boar out. I like to shoot them across the woods and land, and the deer, etc., will come my way instead of that way. So a slingshot can be a great alternative weapon. One thing for sure, when we're in front of the police, when we're in front of the prosecutor, we want to show that we had several weapons and we used alternative weapons. And our last thought was to blow somebody's brain away. I mean, sometimes it might be a 15-year-old who's the son of somebody right up the street, and all he's trying to do is steal some stuff so he can get some marijuana money. We got to be careful thinking I'm just going to blast away whoever shows up. So it's not just having concealed carry, it's not just having an air gun, a powder gun. It's all about having a plan and understanding the big picture. If you understand the big picture, you'll probably make good choices. You also want to know what your laws are in the state and in the city. Laws are important. You don't want to have to learn some law later by a neighbor and have to drag this guy back into the house because you shot him out in the lawn escaping your house, and to later find out that was a no-no. So learn the laws as you put your plan together. You don't want to be sitting in jail while this guy is out running around in the street. Here's an interesting target. I think most of the viewers will remember this guy, Osama bin Laden. And these are not two hostages. We don't have hostages in this target. What these two represent are two of his bodyguards. It'd be nice to know when we hear that glass break at night, is there just one person in the house? 2 or 3? Do we have an entire gang? And what weapons do they have? We'd like to know it, but we often don't. So our plan must accommodate all the types of scenarios that might take place. And that's why alternative weapons and plans are very, very important. And you need to practice. You also want to know how far and how deadly your weapons are. For example, will they go through a drywall and into a baby's room next door to yours, or a children's room down the hall? Some of these large bore rifles will go through drywall, siding, and even through cinder block. And the last thing we want to do is take out a neighbor. Let me tell you something about gangs. I remember a story in Detroit News in which 2 gangs were against each other, and they got in 2 cars and they came together at an intersection in Detroit not too many years ago. True story. And they drove around in this intersection shooting at each other. The police later found over 300 brass cartridges on the ground. The hospitals reported nobody coming in to see what's happened and to help them. But unfortunately, 2 blocks away, a grandmother was in her rocking chair watching television, and one of those bullets came through the siding, through the drywall, and hit her in the head and killed her instantly. How sad. I personally don't get too excited about gangs. I can tell you, if they had a gang in this room right here and I asked them all the question, can I ask each of you gang members a question? How much time did you spend at a range practicing and shooting and shooting? Probably not at all. Oh, they like this gangster sideways handle, and we're going to be talking about that in the next video. They like to be tough. They get their confidence from the gang around them. You and I want to get our confidence in how we squeeze that trigger and how we have a plan in place, and it doesn't matter if there's a gang or not. I want you to be sure to think about the second part of this video that's coming. We'll use some more guns and an air gun too, an air pistol, I mean. You're going to see what we call a bowling pin shoot. You know, bowling pin has the exact shape of the organs of people. We've got some interesting things, and if it's okay, we might have the wind to help us get a drone up in the air. But be sure that you subscribe, because you'll miss the next video, and it's the next video to this one that's about part 2, securing your family, your home. Another thing I'd like for you to think about is that little icon about the thumb. I'd like for you to hit it, and I'll tell you, it doesn't gratify me a bit, but I need to tell you what does happen. If you don't do this, Google does that. And Google has this complex algorithm that determines which videos are going to be running down the side of your computer screen or at the bottom of your phone for you to watch. And unless they see a lot of thumbs up, they're just not going to put you in first place there for that sort of exposure. Lastly, please leave your questions, comments on YouTube. I answer every one of them personally. I take it very personal and responsible, this whole thing about personal defense. And trust me when I say I'll answer all your questions and help you be just as sharp as you can be when you hear that broken glass, when you hear that crowbar push a door through. We'll see you with video number 2 on this subject.